For Still Alive, I thought the premise was really interesting. It reminded me of something that would be on a Black Mirror episode, one of those premises that really makes you think and reflect on where our society is heading. I loved the setting and the cinematography. I thought that the color scheme was really aesthetically pleasing and fun to look at. I thought the dynamic between the two characters was also really well done. It's not something you see in a lot of films, but it was two strangers interacting with each other in a moment of grief in a way. I thought that it was done really well. The awkwardness was played well, and the two actors just did a really great job together. I also really enjoyed the emotional notes that this hit, even though it was just a character walking through a house and tagging things. It hit home, especially in this world of remote learning, remote working, and how we still manage to connect as humans, and how much someone's life can affect someone else, even from so far away. So I really enjoyed this film.
Still Alive. Great premise, which unraveled its mysteries very slowly, and it almost felt like the grieving process. And I think it was so brave of the filmmaker to allow that silence, to allow the space, to allow it to wash over us, just like grieving needs that space. So it created room for the emotional weight of this to unfold, and allowed for all the nuances of this emotional experience to unfold as well. I loved the artistic design. I thought the pops of saturated color with the blue and that orange color scheme was brilliant, and it was very vibrant throughout. Also felt like there was great intentional framing throughout the film as well. Overall, I thought this was a really impactful piece and great concept that they executed very well.
Still Alive was very fascinating because it brings up a concept that I feel we haven't really seen before. Let me explain. So this in reality was a story about someone who's grieving. While that's usually, pretty typical, like why would I say that I haven't seen something like that before. But they're grieving over someone who they had a relationship remotely. I don't think that's a story you really hear often. You don't really see stories told about people who have built relationships but have never physically met each other. You've seen it passing by here or there, like real life stories, but I've never seen a film where you actually go through the grief process and the complexities of never actually interacting with a person. In this story, she was basically learning who they were for the first time by going in their house. And I thought that was very fascinating because it goes to show just these new relationships we have online. There's so much that we don't get to experience when we're not in person. And I just found I found this whole film very fascinating.
Still Alive was a nice, quiet piece, and I think the two actors gave a really good performance. It was, some dialogue here and there, and really really well done, well directed, well acted. And it was small and quiet, but also just, very interesting, and I liked it.
Really, really interesting piece. I really enjoyed this. It was kind of science fiction, but like it definitely had a sort of a magical realism to it. And but overall, it's just about this person, this young lady who's dealing with the loss of a friend. At the end of it all, So it's a very simple meaning, of going and processing. She's getting to, part of the sci-fi, of course, part of realistic world nowadays is that she's never met this person and only spoken over Zoom, over video call. But this is apparently a very special friend, and who provided a great comfort to her. And this man is kind of there to help usher her through this experience of kind of grieving and learning about this friend that she never met face to face. And it's interesting to see this journey, and this balloon represents, what's left of this friend. And yeah, it's interesting. It's sad because we're dealing with the loss of a friend. It's sad that she's never met this person face to face, and that's something we can all identify with these days. But it's also kind of very just sweet that she is able to deal with this loss, and that this service being provided is helping her. So the actors did a great job. Both the on-screen actors did a great job. She was very easy to follow as the lead. She did a great job, and he was very just presentational and there for her, and caring. He's doing his job, yet he was caring at the same time. And we can see that in both of the actors, the kind of history that they're dealing with there. So great job, great script. It was well edited, well executed, good use of music, and it got me thinking. So great job. I hope this gets out there and gets seen, because it was really wonderful.
It's okay. So I just finished watching Still Alive, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a really great piece, both in terms of themes and in particular in terms of visual construction. I felt like so many of the compositions of this piece and so many of the framing decisions in this piece really created a nice sense of style and a sort of undercurrent and subtle sense of humor, and particularly with the balloon and a lot of the transitions really worked in a way that was both quirky and stylish. And I enjoyed both of the lead actors' ability to make a lot of not that much going on, and the story ended up feeling like it had numerous layers of emotion, even though it's playing out in a very small and claustrophobic space. I feel like this was very difficult to do, and it mainly worked because the acting decisions and the direction decisions were so in tune that it created a very cohesive feeling and mood throughout the piece, and allowed you to sort of interpret how you felt about what was going on without sort of forcing a very tight narrative into your face. And I felt like the entire endeavor was really crafted with a level of detail that made me feel like the creators really had a strong intent in terms of how they wanted the audience to feel and how they wanted the piece to feel. And ultimately, I felt like it really translated into something that was enjoyable to watch and interesting to sort of meditate on as it played out. So in that sense, I ended up really enjoying it.